All right, thank you very much once again, and welcome back to United and Everything Football Podcast. As you can see from Grammy's shit, I won't say subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. If you are new, please remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Let's together grow the community together. We appreciate all you are doing for us, okay? We are close to 2,000 subscribers, so please help us get to 2,000 subscribers, and then we'll take it off from there, and we keep growing, and we keep going, and we keep going. Here on United Everything Football, we've got some very interesting things to talk about. We've got a Europa League game coming up. We'll describe, or we'll try and talk about the Europa League format and how it looks like. Nothing different from, because we've not taken time to, explain to you how everything is looking like in the Europa League. We'll try and explain to you and the teams that will be playing, and also preview the game against FC Twente. And we ask you to bring your videos to us. Yes, we have our fair set of videos that we'll be sharing with you. A few of the ardent listeners have sent us the videos and we'll be sharing to you today. We are joined again by our man Cyrus Agogo. He has joined us back on the podcast. Big man Agogo. Agogo, you're welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. Great to have you.
Yeah. I'm really happy to be back on this show.
Great. Kwame.
But guys, please subscribe to the channel.
Yes, tell them.
They go together. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. So you can follow me on my social media platform. I'm always on you guys. Please subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
We did grow together.
Yes, we did grow together. Let's grow together. As you can see, his name, Agogo's social media name is also on his name. So just follow him. You can follow Kwame as well. You can follow me. And you can follow the podcast X media handle also. And let's grow the community together. Let's grow. Kwame. How was your day?
I've recovered.
You have recovered.
Whatever they did to me, I've recovered from it, and I'm ready to kick on. Bring on the next game.
Correct. So we are here to talk about the next game. And it's always a pleasure to come your way. So please remember to subscribe. Please leave a comment. Smash the likes for us. Don't just watch. Just smash the likes. As you are watching and you hearing me say it, just tap on the like button for us. It's very, very important for us. So let's make a quick turnaround. When we come back, I would get to my guys. We'll start a bit of the discussion and then we'll set the ball rolling here on United and Everything Football. All right, thank you very much. Welcome back to United and Everything Football Podcast. So Kwame is here. Kwame, we got some interesting videos from our friends and all the people that have been listening. So please remember, like we said, before games, after games. So we'll be here to discuss the post-match of the FC Twente game. So as you can see, please, after the game, record and send to the email that we have sent to you, or you can see on the screen. Record and send, and we would play it out so we could hear your views and your perspective. We don't want to only hear you in the comment section, but we also want to see you talk about it in less than 60 seconds. Just describe your feeling about the game and all of that. So, Kwame, you know what? Let's listen to what people said about the game against Crystal Palace. 3 people sent in their videos. Let's listen to what they had to say about the game.
Well, it's been a roller coaster of a season already. Just 5 games in, and we've had ups and downs. I've been on Ten Hag's neck for a while now, but I can't fault him for the game against Crystal Palace. Our forwards just decided to forget their scoring boots, and I don't know what to say. It was one of our better performances of the season, but the games are racking up. Let's just forget that one. Let's move on to the next one. The Europa League is something we need to win. And since we have become kind of a cup team, I hope we take it out on FC Twente. Let's replicate the performance we had against Barnsley, against them, and hopefully we trash them and take it on into the league against Spurs too. So come on, you Reds. Let's go. GGMU.
So my disappointment in the Crystal Palace game, to an extent, and it's not me scapegoating, no, because everybody knows I actually love Bruno Fernandes. But what's Bruno Fernandes? Because with our forwards, we know they are going to miss loads and loads of chances. We are trusting a young forward, and then we know that we need to keep creating for them to be able to score. So with Bruno Fernandes coming into a position where I actually wanted him to start the game with, because I wanted a midfield of Ugarte, Maino, and Bruno Fernandes, so that we can sustain our attacks, and then Bruno creates that's his thing. But then we started a game with Maino, Eriksen, and Bruno Fernandes. Eriksen was the one largely creating the chances. And then when we switched the midfield I actually wanted, Bruno Fernandes couldn't find Marcus Rashford, Højlund, or Garnacho. I was disappointed in that one. But I mean, it's Bruno Fernandes. And big players have bad games. I know he's going to kick off his season anytime soon. Let's move on to 20. I'm sure we'll have an impactful season.
I would like to speak on the Palace game. I think it was a good game in general. It was a game where we played very well. We kept the ball very well. We could see the clear plan that Ten Hag approached the game with, which is very good. And I hope that going forward, we are going to approach the game similarly. Yeah, one can say it's just Crystal Palace, but then you start from somewhere, right? So going forward, I'm expecting us to play similar to this. But then the key issue was missing big chances, right? We missed 5 big chances in the first half, which was quite unfortunate, and it's a big issue for us this season. It's become an issue throughout the start of the season, and I think it even started in the preseason. We are missing a lot of big chances, which I think Van Nistelrooy and Ten Hag should come up and find a solution to it. So I think I like the game, but then it's quite clear that we need to kill off our chances so that we can win games. Simple.
All right, so those were the videos. Very interesting thoughts, very interesting. But Kwame, what did you make of the things that the people talked about briefly before I take the thoughts on our go on the Crystal Palace game?
It seems that finally all United fans seem to be on the same page when it comes to issues concerning our club. Profligacy will be the end of us. As soon as possible, we have to start finding the back of the net. We have to start taking our chances. Otherwise, it's same old United.
Same old. But go briefly before because we've discussed the Crystal Palace game already. What did you make of it?
Yeah, so for the first time this season, Manchester United dominated our opponent. Yeah. But then again, our players should be clinical enough. So Kwame posted something on Twitter that we spent over £200 million on our attackers, and we still can't score enough. So I think our players, as for this one, I won't blame Ten Hag. Yeah. Tactics, how to build up, everything was perfect. Our attackers should be clinical enough. We were missing a lot of chances, so I'm just hoping that our next match we can score more goals.
Score more goals. It's very, very important. Prior to that game, we had scored 10 goals in our last 2 games, so we expected to have kicked on from there.
We scored all our goals.
We scored all our goals. Like a certain man in Ghana said, if I do everything today, what will I do tomorrow?
Hey.
We scored all our goals yesterday. So are we going to... Anyway, that's just by the way. As you scored all the goals yesterday, what goals are we going to score tomorrow? Relax with the goals. Anyway, so guys, let's get into the FC Twente game. Kwame, I'll start with you. Europa League. Let's briefly talk about the new format and everything that has got to do with it. Should I explain, or Kwame, let me get to you. So
no, you explain, because
let me explain. All right,
I'm still not entirely up to date when it comes to the format.
It's just like the Champions League format.
Exactly.
The draw, I was like, format Basabeni, and you're like, because my team is not part of the
Kwame, brief us, please.
Let me
do us the honor.
Okay, so initially in the Europa League, as you know, there were group stages, or there were teams group in groups of 4, or it's 4 teams in each group. Now that stage has been scrapped. Now all teams are in one big group. All the teams are in one big group. Okay, and have been drawn against 8 different opponents to play 4 home games, 4 away games. All right. So Man United our first home game will be against FC Twente, of which we are going to analyze today. And then we'll go play FC Porto away. And we have some other games, including Fenerbahce away and some other games that we will be playing. And at the end of it all, the team that places first 8 or the top 8 teams have an automatic qualification to the round of 16. Now, the teams that plays 9th to 23rd or 24th or something, now they would be paired against each other to play a playoff, okay? And then the top 8 that comes out victorious will go add up to the already existing 8 to play in what we refer to as the round of 16. And then what you already know will continue. So round of 16, home and away, quarter-final, home and away, semi-final, home and away, and then one grand final. So it's that simple. But when we play FC Twente, we are not playing them away again. We play FC Twente once, then we play another team. So what it means is that you have to start well. Make sure you are in the top 8 to avoid an extra fixture.
And that extra round is home and away, right? And not out round.
That one is
to qualify for the round of 16.
Yes, it's home and away. That's the clarity on that. So that's it. If you don't understand anything, you can leave in the comment section. When we come back to it and discuss it, we'll try and explain to you. It's the same format as the Champions League. The Conference League has a slightly different because the teams that are playing 6 games and all of that. So it's just a slight tweak in the Conference League, but it's the same format. All right, so that's basically that. So let's zoom straight to the game against FC Twente, Dutch opponent. Former Erik ten Hag has been an assistant coach for that team before. But let's look at that game. How are we supposed to take this whole Europa League thing?
Personally, it's the trophy that we should win.
Correct.
We've won the main domestic cups over the past 2 seasons. It's about time we added another European trophy to our haul. Mind you, there are a couple of teams who have been making noise about the number of European trophies that they've won, that they even won more European trophies than Manchester United, i.e. Chelsea and Liverpool. So it's about time we start making up for our losses. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the last manager to make it to the Europa League final, and somehow he battled it against Villarreal.
Yeah.
We have to make amends this time. I say this because it would be nice to have the full array of trophies over the past 3 years. League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, because we are captain.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is we are captain. We are nowhere close to winning the Premier League.
Yeah.
So if we are going to be a captain, we must as well just get the entire haul. And winning the Europa League is such a benchmark to move on to the next level. Champions League automatic qualification. Mind you, it's also a means of qualifying for the Champions League. A lot of people actually do forget that.
Yeah.
Because looking at the competition in the league, there is no guarantee that we'll make a top 4 spot. So we must as well take the Europa League as seriously as possible. Just as our very last manager who actually won the Europa League for us, our very first Europa League did.
Yeah.
Was it in 2016 when Jose Mourinho won?
Yes.
Just as we did against another Dutch team in Ajax Amsterdam in 2016. It's about time we win the Europa League again.
It's about time we win the Europa League again. Agogo, how should we approach this game in particular against FC Twente?
Yeah, so Kwame, this season Manchester United should take the Europa League serious, because if you watch our performance in the EPL and you watch the other teams like Man City, even Chelsea, Arsenal, it will be very difficult to compete with the top 4. And with the Europa League, if you win this particular tournament, you will qualify for the Champions League football.
Yeah.
You won't go and play any playoff. Automatically, you are playing the Champions League. So this game, Manchester United should take it serious. Ten Hag should set up his first 11. First 11. I think we should go with the same Crystal Palace approach. We should dominate our opponent, create a lot of chances, and our attackers should be clinical. But I really want to, I don't know how to put it, but benching Rashford against Crystal Palace, I still don't understand. But according to our rotation, Rashford from last season, a lot of Manchester United fans are being like he's not good enough. We should sell him to other teams. But our last match against Barnsley, he was scoring goals. He scored 2 goals. Then our crucial match, I would say crucial match, is away. Then you decided to bench him. I was like, Ten Hag. So this game, as you explained the tournament, the format, we should take games serious. We should just go into this game to win goals. We should score more goals.
Exactly.
I think at some point, it's like a league form. First, second, third. Goals really count in this particular format. So we should take our chances.
It's very, very important because if you look at the Champions League, the team that is on top currently is Bayern Munich because they put 8 goals past their opponent, and that's what has kept them at the very top. So it's very important. Like Agogo is saying, we need to put the goals in the game. But Kwame, let's look at how we should shape up for this game. What if you are Erik ten Hag? What's going to be your mindset going into this game in terms of team selection? Already, like Agogo rightly said, a lot of us were not happy with the fact that he's had to put Marcus Rashford on. I still don't understand. No matter the explanation of rotation and other things, it doesn't make sense to me that at that point in time, you'd have to bench the player who is the most experienced attacker in the team, who was struggling for form, has found form, scored in 2 successive games. Then you bench the player. I still don't understand why Erik ten Hag. But if you are him, going into this game, what's the mindset?
Whilst Agogo was speaking, I had a eureka moment. Something just popped up in my head. Agogo said, in our most important game, why did you bench like you said, our most experienced forward? What if the Europa League is actually the most important competition? What if?
Since he's a cup
calculated risk? He's a cup coach. What if it's a calculated risk and he's taking this Europa League thing more seriously than we actually do think? Because these are my reasons. We are playing on a Wednesday, not a Thursday. We are playing on a Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Under normal circumstances, we're playing a Champions League game. It will still be a Tuesday or Wednesday and not a Thursday, which is close to a weekend game of which you may suffer because you are playing your strongest team.
Right.
But he can play his strongest team tomorrow, just like Agogo said, and still be able to field that strong team against Spurs over the weekend. Right? So when he speaks rotation, he's probably calculating it to see, you know what, I can field my strongest team probably against FC Twente because this Europa League competition might actually be our safest bet of qualifying for the Champions League. And I say this on the premise that this year's format, you forgot one point. You actually left it out. I just took notice of it. No Champions League team is dropping into the Europa League this season. So there are no stronger teams going to drop from the Champions League because they don't qualify from the group into the Europa League. The teams you see in the Europa League, I'm sure we can post the fixtures, the upcoming fixtures for tomorrow, so that the viewers can see. All the teams that you see now on your screen are the teams that are going to be competing in the in the Europa League. Some teams will fall out based off how we have described the format earlier. The bottom 8 teams will fall off. Then the teams between 8 and 24 who will play the playoffs and lose will also fall out. And 16 teams out of the teams that you see on the screen now will qualify for the next stage of the competition. Unlike previously, where you had teams from the Champions League dropping into a playoff to continue with the Europa League, as was the case, was it 2 seasons ago when we had to play Barcelona in a round just before the round of 16 of the Europa League. Round 32. That is no longer going to happen. There is no chance of a huge team like Barca dropping down. No excuse for not actually winning the Europa League this season. Of all the teams that you see here, Manchester United has the pedigree, has a better team than any team that you see on this list. And we have no excuse for not winning it. So double joy of winning the Europa League and qualifying for the Champions League is actually, as we sit here now, might actually prove to be a better possibility than trying to get a top 4 spot in the league. So who knows? Who knows? We probably bench Marcus Rashford for the most important game. Palace may not have been the most important game. I'm just thinking aloud.
That's Kwame with an Iruka moment. And
he's really making a good point. Yeah,
he's really making
a good point.
I hadn't thought about it before, but who knows?
you never know. All right, let me run you through the team that will be playing, projecting it on the screens. We'll play FC Twente, we'll play FC Porto away, we'll play Fenerbahce away, and then we'll play PAOK away. We have our own Babaraman, our Ghanaian player Babaraman in that team. And our own boy, Shola Shariteri, has also joined them. POOK. He is in there. Then we'll play Bodo and Glimt at home. POOK will be playing them at home. We'll play Victoria Pleasant away. We'll play Rangers at home. And then we'll play Sto Bucharesti. How are we not beating all of these? Should finish all of them. Should finish.
Yeah.
I'll go Adelaide.
Oh yeah, we'll score them all. Again, you know, our Manchester United team, they broke me heart.
You never know.
They are going to stress you. So
they are going to stress you. But let's talk a bit about the team and the issue of there's a lot of arguments that's popping up about the number 10 role. About Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen, what Eriksen has showed. Agogo, what do you think generally, Agogo, on the issue of Bruno and then Eriksen?
I'm a Bruno rep. I love Bruno. He's our captain, but let's just be real. This season, Bruno is off.
Yeah.
Fulham missing a lot of chances. Even our second match against Brighton, missing a lot of chances. They can't even control the game. Crosses, simple passes against Liverpool. Bruno is off. But if you ask yourself, who is going to replace Bruno? Another question. We don't really have more options on the bench. But I think since Højlund is back, Bruno should up his game. If he is still not performing, Zexi should move to the 10 role or Mason Mount. Let's just try Mason Mount. Bruno should still start, but at some point, let's say from 60 minutes, if he's still not performing, there should be a quick sap. Zexi should come in as the number 10 position, or maybe Mason Mount, because this particular scene, let's just be real, Bruno is really off. Our game against Crystal Palace, everything was on Bruno. Assists from Zexi, clear chances, pull-out, even simple crosses. Bruno was actually struggling to make a simple cross in the game. So I think there should be competition, options on the bench. If there is competition in the team, I think all players will improve and try their possible best to do well. Bruno is he's not having any competition in this particular season. Mount in him so cry now. He'll go Obipra. I don't know what's wrong with Mount, but I think he needs competition and let's see what's going to happen. Bruno should up his game. He is our best player. Our best player.
Yeah. Kwame, is Bruno suffering from the new contract syndrome where players sign a new contract and suddenly Arsenal are also suffering with Gabriel Martinelli.
Players sign new contracts and then that's the end of it.
Suddenly they forget how to play football.
But for me, listen, you know how I feel about how our best players often are the players who suffer the most when things aren't going well. I'll always give a reprieve to our best players because at the end of the day, we still need them to perform if the team is going to do well.
You know the funny thing about Bruno?
What?
You know, he gave the assist in that first goal that we scored against Southampton. Out of nothing.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing is a lot of things go through him. So at the end of the day, it's about the law of probability. If you are going to take listen. It's because our team relies heavily on him for chance creation. But if you even take Manchester City and Kevin De Bruyne, if you look at the number of times Kevin De Bruyne crosses the football, the game, most of it doesn't even get to the man. But it's down to the law of probability. It's the same with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He will cross the ball like 100 times. At the end of the day, most often than not, an assist is going to come from him.
Yeah.
The problem is when we are trying to do something which is clearly structured. Well, that's my issue with Bruno. I have just one issue with him.
Yeah.
Clearly structured. And something goes wrong for him in particular. It's almost like if everything that we've planned out of the window and he's just doing his own thing.
Yeah.
That's what happens with him most of the time. Fulham game, he misses a couple of chances in the first. And the second half, he's just playing like throw all the tactics and everything out of the window. Bruno is just forcing issues.
It's just that adrenaline kicks in and then he begins to do all sorts of things.
There is no better way to describe it than the way that you've just done it. The adrenaline kicks in and he's just doing his own thing on the football pitch. When people talk about the fact that he's often not emotionally controlled and that should even stick against him when it comes to the captaincy, these are some of the things that I would rather support than say, oh, he's not passionate enough, he's not emotional enough. They are two separate things.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need emotional control on the football pitch, both on and off the ball.
Yeah.
Off the ball, he'll be fighting with referees and other players and then gesturing and all those kind of things. I don't even have an issue with that. But on the ball, the emotional control should always be there. 90 minutes. Bruno Fernandes is 30 years old, right? Let's not forget that he's actually aging.
Yeah.
He has gone through his peak moments. Very soon there will be a decline. I'm not saying it's happening now, but it could happen soon.
Yeah.
The window for him to be able to continue to produce consistently like he has done for us isn't as wide as it was 3-4 years ago. In fact, he has exhausted most of it for us, consistently performing, and has been duly rewarded with a big contract. Yeah. But what we should know is it's not always going to be like this. Right? That is where Agogo's point about beyond Bruno, what else do we have?
Yeah. Comes into.
I was very glad he brought up the Zexi conundrum because Zexi has always been described as somebody who can play with Højlund and in that number 10 position. You remember Vegas was playing in that position when he came back on?
Yes.
So it's not like something that is unfamiliar to Eric Ten Hag. It's not. It's something that we could possibly see with Bruno shifting to the right-hand side.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily have to come off. I'll never advocate for Bruno being on the bench or something like that out of poor form. Like Agogo said, he can be in the game and possibly subbed if it's that bad. But to say he should be dropped, like how people were saying Marcus Rashford should have been dropped last season and blah. I'd never ever supported that even once. I'd never ever support the fact that our best players should just be dumped aside for players whom we cannot wholeheartedly rely on going forward. So with the Bruno thing, I'm hoping it's just this whole new contract thing. He will wake up at a point this season and it wouldn't be too late. The season will still be relevant and then he will contribute like he has always contributed.
All right, so that's it on the FC Twente game and what to expect in terms of the lineup and everything. Both of my guys believe that we should, and myself included, believe we should go in with our strongest lineup, go into that game, start very well, make sure that we have accumulated enough points. This one, there's no point of relaxing. There is no point of relaxing because it's a points accumulation thing. You can't say that I've played 2 games or 3 games and I've qualified, so I'll use some. No, it hasn't gotten to that. It hasn't gotten to that point yet. Or sometimes, as you drop points, other teams are overtaking you or are winning all their games and are overtaking before you realize you've shifted from 7th to 8th to 9th position and you have to go and play a playoff. We don't want any of that to happen to us in this competition. Win as many games as possible. Make sure you don't lose. We have a game against Jose Mourinho and a few Manchester United players at Fenerbahce in Turkey, one game that a lot of people are also looking forward to. We are all looking forward to that game as well. But first, it's against FC Twente, and we'll be going into that game. So that's it with respect to that. Let's do some very interesting topic on the stadium redevelopment. A lot of news have come up today, and I'll try and share some of them with you. And then I'll get to my guys, and then we will talk a lot more about some of it. So it is now emerged that United Stadium Regeneration project would be worth 7.3 billion per year to the UK economy. And how is it going to be? This is the breakdown. See, the stadium is going to be 100,000 capacity stadium. It's going to create 92,000 jobs, 17,000 new homes, and 1.8 million visitors to the area per year. And the club will not apply for public money for Old Trafford. That is according to estimates. I'm sharing some of the pictures of how things are likely to look. And this is what the Manchester mayor said, Andy Burnham said about it. He says this could be the biggest regeneration scheme ever seen in the country. Now, I'll tell you something. Real Madrid renovated their stadium. They just renovated into a world-class stadium. Barcelona are doing that with Spotify Camp Nou. Other teams have built new stadiums and all of that. But what United is doing is not just building a new stadium. It's about developing a whole area around the stadium. So it's something that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the whole United hierarchy are looking at and have decided to pay attention to in order to see how best we are able to, get our team to be a world-class or to achieve world-class status in everything that we do. Manchester United, the pinnacle are the highest or are the pinnacle of things in terms of football. And they want United to be fit or get to that level or that status. And that's exactly what Sir Jim Ratcliffe. It's not just building a stadium. It's about regenerating the whole area, boosting the economy. It's affecting the whole economy in England because we want to attract people. After you've watched the game, there are other things you can do in the area. So when United win big games, there's a lot of things going on there. There are fan parks. There are, like, when you come to Old Trafford, you've come home. So there's a lot of things that
it's about the experience, not just the game.
Experience, yeah. Agogo, you wanted to make a point.
So let's say tourists, like people will come and see what's,
Exactly. So not just coming to watch football. And that's exactly. But Kwame, let me pick your thoughts before I get to Agogo on this whole stadium regeneration thing. I've just shared a few of my thoughts in the things that I was just saying.
So it's about time. The first things first, it's about time.
Yeah.
Because Old Trafford is a relic. It's done its bit for over 100 years.
Yeah.
It stood still. And so it's about time we just move on and then moved on to bigger things. Match the best teams in the world and what they've been able to do.
Yeah.
What people are interested in is how are we going to fund the stadium? Because the last point that you made was about public funding. The fact that the club is not going to seek public funding in building the stadium.
Yeah.
What they're interested in government funding is developing the entire area. Yeah. There's going to be housing, there's going to be recreational places, there's going to be everything. If you look at how Wembley and the area around Wembley was developed,
I'm showing that
is what Manchester United is looking to do with hotels, businesses, everything just popping up.
Yeah.
So it's just not in the interest of developing things for Manchester United, right? It's about developing things for the city of Manchester. What City have done on the other side of Manchester is what Manchester United is looking to do on the other side. I think the west side of Manchester City have done so on the east. I don't know whether it's vice versa.
Okay.
Like we need a cardinal points to be able to be sure.
Yeah.
But then that's what we are also trying to do on our side. It goes to benefit the entire city. But how is United going to fund the stadium? That's the thing. That's what every fan should actually be focused on. The reason being that the Glazers shied away from this and wanted somebody to bring investment into the club because of the stadium. Yep. If people want to know why the Glazers sought for strategic investment into Manchester United, of which people were thinking it was going to be a full-on sale, it was because of Old Trafford. They first muted that they wanted to go and take a loan to refurbish Old Trafford, of which fans said they did not want that. I'm talking about Moose and all those other big fan organizations who speak on behalf of us. Said no more loans because United is already in debt of close to over 500 million pounds.
Correct.
So if you're going to take 200, 300 million pounds to refurbish Old Trafford, our debt is just going to soar to God knows how much. But we are thinking of now building a stadium with a 100,000 capacity stadium worth almost 2 billion pounds. Where is this 2 billion pounds going to come from? Is it going to be partly sponsored by our? Is it Sir Jim Ratcliffe who is going to bring majority of the money? Are we going to take more loans to get more debts, or are we going to? The club itself is going to sell some shares off and then generate some money to be able to go into this investment.
Yeah,
we live to see. I think for me that is the most important aspect of this whole thing that should interest Manchester United fans. It's exciting. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
But if we are going to be crippled by debt like Arsenal were crippled by debt whilst trying to build their own new stadium in the Emirates, they had to stall a bit in terms of the team's progress on the football pitch for years.
Yeah.
Just because they were investing a lot of money, their own money, into building the Emirates.
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen to Manchester United. Off the field, we are hearing beautiful stuff. Our training ground will be ready by next year. World-class training ground.
Yeah.
Probably our stadium will be ready in 5 or 6 years. We are hitting all the right notes off the field.
Yeah.
On the field, we are still struggling. You don't want off-field issues to then become a burden on on-field matters of which we haven't even resolved yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So over the next few months, let's just find out, and hopefully we get the best possible.
We have just 3 minutes. Agogo, just a point. Just make it quick.
Okay. So if you have to check top 10 stadiums in the world, you won't find Old Trafford. So if they want to build us a new stadium, we won't use the Old Trafford Stadium. I think it's a nice idea, but then again, a time will come. They will be like, we can't sign in new players because we are working in the new stadium.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want to hear.
Okay.
Because people will be spending a lot to build up their squad. Manchester United also need to spend.
Yeah.
I don't think maybe that time Ten Hag will still be around. There will be a new coach who also need a new players for his system.
Yeah.
As a Manchester United fan, I'll be happy. Last season, Chelsea fans will be trolling me that Manchester United leaking stadium, way Old Trafford now, Baba Yara or Inijan. So I want to see it. So I just want to see a new stadium. But how
it goes.
All right. That's what I want.
All right. Thank you very much, Agogo. Thanks so much for being a part of us. Let me quickly rush through the FPL because we have, let me check my time. We have just 1 minute and 48 seconds. So who is leading? California is still leading. Charlie, that guy, we have to find him. So this is the top 10.
We have to find an antidote.
California is still leading, but there's been a lot of shifts. There's been a lot of movement. People have broken into the top 10, and people who are already in the top 10 have also gone down. I have moved from number 20 to number 50. So if I am at number 50, you can guess where Kwame is. He's down.
It's still early days.
It's still early days. You say early days. Match day 38. It's still early days. We'll be here. Thank you very much.
Where is Danny?
I can't find him.
Sexy.
He's missing. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being a part of this podcast. Thank you very much, Cyrus Agogo of Prr. Please remember to watch Prr on Kojo Sheldon Studios. So you'll find Agogo there every day. Very, very important. Kwame Nchubu, thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel as you can see on his shirt and always be a part of this beautiful podcast. We'll see you after the FC Twente game to discuss the fallout from that game. Have a great time. Bye-bye.